Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new super fast LUFFY YAMATO and taking them into some content, having a chat about what they do, how I think the unit performs, and doing a bit of a showcase for you guys in some harder content in the game. So the first piece of content is going up against Arena Franky. Now, Arena Franky is renowned for having bind at the end on your sailors after you get bound on stage 4. It was built for V2 VB so a character that can remove bind in their captain ability is actually very valuable to have. So LUFFY YAMATO have the ability to remove 10 turns of bind in their captain, and it works exceptionally well, bringing 2 of them as they are a 6 times captain. For this particular fight, for every piece of content you see today, we are going to be no-stalling it, because this captain is incredibly easy to no-stall content, because they actually have a lot of cooldowns in their actual kits. So LUFFY and YAMATO have 2 turns of cooldown to Dex, Quick, and Strength, and then they give another turn of cooldown to Fighters, Strikers, and Free Spirit characters. So exceptional cooldown, 3 turns, which is massive, so 6 turns if you bring 2 of them, which is absolutely disgusting. Probably the best cooldown captain in the entire game. Boosts HP by 1.3, recovery by 1.2, and then boosts Strength, Dex, Quick, and Free Spirit characters' attack by 6 times, boosting all other characters by 5.25. They make Strength, Dex, Recovery, and Tandem always have matching slot effects. You can eat Recovery to Perfect. You get 30% damage reduction, as well as that 10 turns of bind that I spoke about. That is their dual captain. They do have individual captains that's still very strong, but obviously is a little bit weaker. LUFFY is a strength free spirit captain for 5 times, 4.25 for everyone else, and he has the ability to give himself a switch charge every time he kills a unit. So it's very easy to get the super switch, which is very valuable for their special, but we'll touch on that once we get there. As you can see, we got to the end of Franky very quickly. We did not need to stall at all. We had a lot of cooldowns with their specials. We had a lot of cooldowns with their captain. And it's funny with this particular piece of content, we actually managed to get Franky down literally just with one character with an orb with some color affinity. So works exceptionally well. Super powerful unit. 1/1 orb on them with an orb boost, an attack boost, a little bit of color affinity, and some resistance down. And you can do some pretty nutty things. But as I was saying, LUFFY is the one that can eat the recovery orbs. YAMATO is the one that has the damage reduction. YAMATO boosts Dex Free Spirit. LUFFY boosts Strength Free Spirit. And both of them are very powerful. You see their true power when they are in their dual form, as they are the first true 6 times captain. No, I don't want to see Nami Robin comment in the comment section below, because they are not our first true 6 times captain. This is our true 6 times captain. Moving on to the second piece of content, though, we are coming up against Juan Wolf, and what I do want to see in the comment section is #FuckYouPorky, because my alliance member Porky loves this particular piece of content when it comes to showcases, so this one's for you, my friend. But how do you get the maximum effect out of this unit with their intriguing special? Well, first of all, their special is very powerful. It reduces crew's special charge by 1 turn, boosts Strength, Dex, and Quick characters' orb effects by 3 times, reduces damage by 60%, and changes adjacent orbs into recovery. Also applies increased damage taken by 1.75 to the enemy, and if the crew has a slot boost and damage reduction buff, at the same time extends the attack, orbs, and chain lock for 1 turn. So this special is exceptional. If you can get the 1.75 times increased damage taken, and you have a 3 times orb boost to 3 colors, that's literally over half the game, half of the characters in the game, I should say. You're fine. You are cooking. On top of that, if you're already in their dual form, you actually get a stronger version of this special. It gives you 2 turns of cooldown, a 3.25 times orb boost, 80% damage reduction, changes adjacent orbs into Wano, that gives a 2 times increased damage taken buff, or debuff I should say, through full immunity to the enemy, as well as still doing the shenanigans of extending attack, orbs, and chain lock if you have an orb and damage reduction buff. But how the hell do you get this extra damage buff if you can't get into their dual form without using their special? Well, utilizing their switch allows you to get into their dual form without using their special. And this is what makes this character so unique, and this is what makes this character so powerful, because you can actually get into their dual form by using their super switch. The downside to that is that you actually need to switch 8 times. 8 times is a lot, but that's why When Luffy kills a unit when you are in the Luffy form, you get 1 turn of special switch charge. And when you take damage as Yamato, you also get 1 turn, and allows you to get to those 8 turns a lot quicker, as well as switching every single turn. When you switch or super switch, you completely remove paralysis, despair, and slot bind on the unit. You give yourself a Wano orb through block, and then you do a color affinity boost for up to 2.5 with the super switch, and I think it's a 1.25. It's a 1.5 for free spirits that's overrideable with their normal switch. So the ability to get into their dual form and then use their special is very attainable with this character. And on top of that, not only now do they do an orb boost and increased damage taken, but they also give a massive 2.5 color affinity. So literally with this unit alone, you have an orb boost, you have an increased damage taken that can go through immunity, you have a 6 times captain, and you can have a 1.5 to a 2.5 color affinity boost. And you have utility with bind, getting rid of despair with them as a captain. They can get around slot bind and paralysis as well. Plus, what's the other plus? So just with this unit alone, you can have a monster orb boost, a 2 times increased damage taken that can go through full immunity, a 6 times captain, as well as having utility to remove bind, despair, paralysis on themselves, and slot bind. Plus, they can also be your color affinity booster for the crew. They can do a 1.5 color affinity to free spirits up to 2.5 with their super switch. So with one unit alone, you can basically get everything you need for your damage besides an attack boost, which is actually insane. The fact that you can get so much damage output is ridiculous. And on top of that, they actually have a final tap. Their final tap isn't overly spectacular in my opinion, but it is something that we haven't seen before, and it is something new, sort of. So I do kind of like that. You need 3 of the Straw Hats on the crew to actually attain it on the final stage, or Momonosuke. And what it does is it gives a bunch of base stats depending on your final tap level. It goes 1000, 1250, 1500, 1750, and then applies the damage reduction positive buff, which turns damage reduction into an actual damage buff for level 4 and level 5. At level 4, it's 50%, so a 60% damage reduction will be a 1.3 times buff. However, at level 5, it turns a 60% damage reduction into 1.6. Now, this is only for that unit, which kind of sucks. However, if you can squeeze something like Verse Yamato onto the team, and then use this character as a friend captain, you are going to have that for everyone. Verse Yamato and Luffy Yamato are best buddies. They are best friends, and they are going to work exceptionally well moving forward. Alongside stuff like Nami, alongside stuff like Robin, Anniversary, Zoro, there's a lot of very, very good characters that are going to work alongside this particular unit and make this unit shine. Now, the downside to a dual unit, obviously, is they don't have a super type, they don't have a super class, and you do lack out on a lot of damage with that case. But just like we saw with Whitebeard Roger, the fact that they are a 6 times captain, when Whitebeard Roger obviously being 5.5 at the time was absolutely game-breaking, being a 6 times captain kind of makes up for that super class missing, or that super type being, well, not being there. Their super switch obviously attains to exactly the same mechanic as what a super type or super class does, so you don't miss out on anything there. But the fact that you can get such a monstrous special just with this one unit and a 2.5 color affinity means that all you need to do is bring an attack booster, and then you're pretty much good when it comes to damage output. On top of that, you're pretty much covered for utility, because you can just get around binds. You can hybrid this unit up with something like Super Tandem Nami for paralysis removal. You can hybrid them up with something like Roger, and you can get around despair removal. Because remember, or sorry, Verse Yamato themselves. Because remember, even if you aren't bringing a strength, dex, or quick character, you still buff free spirits. So that's the big upside to this character as well. They buff arguably the best class in the game, being free spirit. And free spirit is just in a league of its own right now, and it's so friggin' powerful. However, there is a big deficit that I do want to talk about with the character that does annoy the crap out of me. The captain ability states that they boost free spirit characters and strength, dex, and quick. However, their special only boosts strength, dex, and quick. The orb boost only applies to the colors. It doesn't actually apply to the free spirit character, as well as their switch only applying to free spirits and not actually applying to the colors. It does make this character a little bit intricate to use, and obviously if you have a more established box and you are building out a team with like strength, dex, and quick free spirit characters, you are going to have a much better time, and you are going to find it a lot easier to actually build out teams. But for newer players and other players, you are just going to have to cop the wonkiness and realize that just because my orb boost isn't buffing everyone, that's actually going to be okay. Just because the color affinity boost isn't buffing everyone, that's going to be okay too. Remember, no matter what, the orb buff and the color affinity buff is always going to buff this particular unit. And if you're running 2 of them, then you are covered across the board there. Another thing to notice is if you do get their the dual unit special and you run a second Luffy Yamato and you don't, you can always extend that orb buff, that 3.25, for an extra turn and then jump straight into the dual form as well. And that way you have 2 6x captains with a 3.25 orb boost for 3 turns. So you can do some really, really cool stuff there. As I mentioned, versus Yamato, Super 10 of Nami, Robin, that trio is going to work exceptionally well with this particular unit as a friend captain. You can then run this unit as a dex option or a strength option when it comes to super boss, and we're going to be seeing some crazy things there. I haven't included that sort of comp in today's video because that's going to be a super boss video down the line. 100% we're going to see that in the super boss moving forward. On top of that, they are an exceptional character in Rumble as well, and they have very interesting Grand Party stats. So it's going to be really, really nice to see how they rock when we do have the Grand Party season. If you guys want to check them out in Rumble, I have released a bit of a small showcase against some of the challenge teams or the AI teams. So hopefully, if you guys are using them over in Grand Party, in PvP, you're liking them there as well. As for their sailor abilities, if you ever need to use them as a sailor, they are going to boost Crew's base attack by 100, and they make tandem and recovery orbs matching. You're probably not going to use this character as a sailor because they're so crazy as a captain, and if you do, getting that super switch is going to be an absolute pain in the ass. The big downside that I think everyone has to this unit, obviously it's a Luffy, it's a Yamato. A lot of players are fatigued on these particular units, and whilst I do understand, and I can definitely wrap my head around that, and I empathize with you as well, I feel it as well. But look, Snake Man Luffy for me is incredibly hype. Yamato is a really cool character and a lot of people love her. I would have loved to have seen this be Momo and not Yamato. But look, this is what we have, and we do need to appreciate the fact that this character, honestly, is in the top 2 echelons of best characters in the game. I don't think this character beats Nami, and there's a big reason why I want to include Nami in today's video and just showcase that, hey, she's still there, and if you have Nami, you're going to be okay even if you miss out on this unit. But if you did pull this unit, congratulations. If you're still summoning for this unit, best of luck with your summons. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are of the character in the comment section below as well. While you're down there, don't forget to belt the like button, hit the big red subscribe button, do all that good stuff for me, but most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Let's